Appearing with Jack tonight are Robert Goulet, Jose Mellis, and tonight's special guest, Judy Garland. This portion of the Jack Parr program is brought to you by Boulevard. Remember, when it's time for a gift, it's time for Boulevard, the gift quality watch. And Hertz Rent-A-Car, who puts you in the driver's seat. And by Kimberly-Clark, makers of big, soft Kleenex towels. And now, here's Jack.
You're very kind. You have no idea how humble that makes a big star like me feel. Yeah, sit down. Last show I did, I happened to... I'm a conservative fella in many ways and dresser, except that I have this wild thing for ties. And I wore this tie with a black suit on the last show. And a lady wrote in and she said that the tie fascinated her during the hour of the show and she turned the set off at 11, but the tie stayed on till midnight. I've never been so thrilled in my up and down careers as tonight to have Judy Garland here with Robert Goulet. As a matter of fact, with such great talent, I had decided not to do my usual act this evening. But I reconsidered. And what may surprise you is you've just seen it. You must understand that after I walk out here, anything I do is an encore. You understand that? I'm kind of excited about this. This is the most money, or this is the biggest band we've ever had. The Cuban Leonard Bernstein went crazy. We have 28 pieces tonight. I know the accountant just told me it's 28. And Jose's ready. Every week it's... Jock, add some violins, more saxophones. He would add a glockenspiegel if he could pronounce it. And he's all excited with Miss Garland here. He usually directs with a baton, but tonight he's using a machete, you know, and I don't know whether he's going to play Beethoven's Fifth or invade Cuba. I just don't understand. But anyhow, all this from a guy who paid off his mortgage by squeezing lemons. In any event, it's going to be a small, quiet history for us this evening. Judy and I have been talking for the last couple of days, telling stories to each other, true stories that have happened. Now, what I'm going to tell you now are true stories about my career, mostly from The Tonight Show. Now, mind you, I don't make this stuff up. If I made it up, you'd learn to know that I don't speak the truth. The series of coincidences in my life are quite amazing. I asked you only to accept that every word I say is truthful. Whether it's funny, you'll find out. A year ago, in November, Jose and myself and Alex King and others went to California. And we did a show out there for a week, as you may remember. And on the first show, it was Alex's birthday. And so as one of the guests, our first guest was my friend Red Skelton. And Red is a compulsively generous man. And when he heard it was Alex's birthday, it was too late to go to a store. So he grabbed a rifle off of his wall and brought it down. Red's that way. If you go to his home and say, what is this? He gives it to you. I've been given very valuable Bibles from Red. I've been given cameras. Anything you ask, what is it? It's yours. Well, anyhow, so he brings this rifle. Now, it's a beautiful blue bore rifle, you know, with an optical sight, telescopic sight, beautiful wooden handle. He gives it to Alex. And, well, the gun is almost as big as Alex King. And what does Alex want with that gun? So he thanks Red. Well, that's one part. Later on, we had a quick draw artist who was the man in Gunsmoke who teaches those guys to draw fast, and he was on the show, the same show, and he brought me a holster with bullets in the side and no guns in it, but just he gave it to me after the show. Well, what do I want a holster for? So I gave it to Jose to give to his little boy. Everything is true. Now we go back to the Hilton. I said, let's go back, have a drink, in my room. We'll watch the show. We had pre-taped it, and we'll watch the show. I'll see you in my room. Here's what happens. The president, Mr. Kennedy, had just checked into the Hilton Hotel. He was making a speech there on the West Coast, and the security men are all over the hotel. In walks Alex King with this rifle with a telescope. Jose Mellis with the holster, with the bullet and the thing, and they're grabbed by 2 security men. I don't know what Alex said, but I did know what he said. Then he talks, and he's Cuban, which doesn't help the matter. And you know what this nut says? They said, "Where are you going?" He says, "We're looking for Jack." And that's I was telling Judy this today. You've heard the word teleprompter? Well, there's something newer and more improved called video cue. Would you show one? Let me show you, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Show it, please. That's it. You see, roll it a little bit. See, we have no script. That's the script, you see. Now, there you are. You've just read the whole thing. Well, now, remember what that is. I was once asked to help certain causes, and I didn't have time in the old days. I worked 5 nights a week, never had time. So one day I felt that I should do something, and I said, yes, I'll do it. I'll read it. Put it on the teleprompter. I'll put the makeup on. I'll be there at 4, 1 take, and that's it. Incidentally, I read a teleprompter very well from years of reading them. So I walked out, and I began to read this thing. Now, it was for a disease, but I had not seen the copy. I'm reading it cold, and I'm reading. Friends, do you wake up in the middle of the night? Are you constantly thirsty? Do your hands perspire? Do you itch constantly? And suddenly I hear the director say, "Cut, hold." I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "Jack, something's wrong." And I said, "Yes, I realize that I have this disease." It happened to be about diabetes. And as I'm reading this, a panic comes on my face because I got the whole damn thing. I got it. So I became interested. You know, there's 3 million people in this country who are diabetics. Only half know it. And of the other half, another half takes insulin, have to. And I have a friend who's sitting right down there, Miriam Keyes. Her brother has diabetes, and he was told he had to take the insulin shots with the needle. And not everyone, perhaps, I don't think I could, that penetrating the outer skin is difficult for a man to do himself. And so the family was asked to please help, and they were given instructions as to how to penetrate the skin, to give this boy a shot once a day. And Miriam was told to learn on an orange. And true, she went home, and next thing the doctor's being called again and said she just put the hypodermic needle in the orange and fainted. Now I tell you another story. On the last show we did, we had Senator Kennedy and his lovely wife Joan, and they were here, and they were on for 20 minutes, and you all seemed to enjoy it. But whenever I do that kind of thing, I know there'll be protests, and sure enough, there were. Many, many people. Why is it always the Kennedys? You and the Kennedys. It isn't me and the Kennedys. They happen to be the President of the United States. I mean, I hate to give you the latest returns, but that's how... And I'm not rubbing it in. I'm just telling you that that's how it turned out. And they're attractive people, and they're the first family of our land, and I think everybody's interested in seeing the Kennedys. However, I don't run a political show. Now, I got these protests, and I knew I would. Every word of this is true. I took off the night I made that show and had 3 days to go down to Nassau. And I went down there with Miriam and Randy, and I was there, and having dinner one night. And but first, in the afternoon, I wanted to see the show on a Friday night. I said, I'd like to see it. It's 180 miles from Miami. You can't see television, But I saw this enormous antenna on a little island with 20 people on it. And I went ashore and went to the guy, and I said, "You get a good picture?" He said, "Yes, pretty good. It rolls sometimes, but pretty good picture." I said, "Well, I'm Jack Parr, and I'd like to see my show. Would you be up at 10? "You're Jack Parr?" "Yes, sir, I am. Could I bring my family?" "It would be the greatest honor in the world. If you'd come, my wife will make cookies." And I said, "Well, that's not necessary. Could we just come at 10 o'clock and see the show?" Fine. Now I'm having dinner, and I meet a fella, and he says to me, "What are you going to do after you eat?" And I said, "I'm going to go watch my show." And he said, "Could I come along?" And I said, "Well, I don't think you'd like it." And he said, "Well, I'd like to see it." And I said, "Well, I think you're a Republican. And Ted Kennedy's on, his wife, Senator Kennedy, and maybe it would bug you, and I don't think you should come." He said, "I'd like to come." So this man came with me, brought his wife and his children. We go to this house, we knock on the door, and the man, I said, "Remember, I'm Jack Parr, and this is my wife, and this is Miriam, and this is Randy, and this is some friends of mine. This is Julie, and this is Tricia. and this is Mr. and Mrs. Richard Nixon. I swear every word is true. So just because I speak well of the President of the United States, please don't think I'm subversive. I'd like you now to meet the brightest star in show business. Said this a couple weeks ago, and critics said, who is Parr to say that? Well, they're all saying it now. His name is Robert Goulet, and he is as nice a man as he is talented. He has a voice of pure music. And when I heard Bob rehearse this afternoon, it occurred to me that his voice sounds like a flag looks in a parade. Robert Goulet.
Too wonderful to be what you seem. Could there be eyes like yours? Could there be lips like yours? Could there be smiles like yours? Honest and truly, you stepped out of a cloud. I want to take you away from the crowd and have you all to myself, alone and apart, out of a dream, safe in my heart. You stepped out of a cloud. I want to take you away from the crowd. Time, another place, somewhere behind the moon, way out in outer space, another world would have to do, another world where there is room for me and you, and we might find it if we could be on top of Everest or miles beneath the sea, and you could hold me forever in your embrace. Another time, another place, and I could love you as much as you would allow. But this is here, and this is now. This is here, and this is now.
We'll be back in a moment right after this word from Hertz Rent-A-Car. I've learned in show business, the greater the talent, the smaller the introduction. I shall never forget the time I saw Red Skelton in a supper club. I've seen him several times, but the house lights dim, and a voice simply says, "Ladies and gentlemen, one of America's clowns." And the simplicity of that introduction I shall never forget. And if that be true, then Judy Garland needs no introduction at all, except to say that she's pure magic. So, abracadabra, Judy Garland. And I'm crying. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm very touched by things like that.
You're very sweet.
Well, let them look at you. That's what they want to see. They want to see Judy Garland. You know, all of us have given our hearts to you so many times that you have permanent possession of it. Can we talk tonight about anything, about silly little things?
Yes, anything you want. Anything you want.
This is, someone's going to call this, I'm review this show, they'll say, Punchy and Judy. Now what? They'll just... I know those cats, you know. But anyhow, what a great laugher.
Terrible.
She laughs, boy, at red ties, they say. She laughs like it.
I laughed at this one.
Come on.
I know.
Boy, you sure got over Norman Maine in a hurry, didn't you? Oh, boy. Hey, listen. She has the greatest stories, and this is one of the great talkers in show business, but no one ever heard her talk. I mean, no one professionally. Listen, tell them about the days at MGM. There's some of the stories about Mickey and Liz Taylor and those people. Just to tell the stories you want to.
Well, I hardly know where to start.
Tell them what you said about Liz.
Well, no, it wasn't anything like that.
No.
As you know, she's this marvelous sort of femme fatale.
Yes.
I can always just remember her as a girl with a lot of chipmunks and horses, and she was only about 3 feet high and 2 years old at Metro. I can't imagine this marvelous sort of Cleopatra. She was, you know, that shows my age.
Well, Liz has grown up, doesn't
Yes,
it? Oh, yeah. But I laugh. She says, Liz, she always thinks of Liz Taylor with chipmunks.
Strange group, you know.
Well, what was in that group?
Well, it was a terrible classroom in the first place when you think of all of us in one group. But Elizabeth Taylor in the schoolroom, you know, we went to school. There was Elizabeth Taylor, and we did, believe it or not, and Lana Turner, and Mickey Rooney, and Freddie Bartholomew, and me, and Deanna Durbin.
That was one room?
In one room, that was all it was. And
we all turned out swell. What happened at Metro? What did they do?
I don't, that was...
Were you kids scared? Were you scared?
No, not at all. We were fine. Have you seen us since we've come out? We were a very peculiar group. Lana kept excusing herself every 5 minutes by having to raise her hand in school to go out and smoke.
How was Mickey?
He went out and smoked, too. We all did.
Well, how far did you go to school in that kind of a system?
We went to school clear through the...
High school?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, we got old enough, they finally sprung us. We didn't pass.
Did you kids know when you were that age, and did you know you were big stars, or was that kept from you? Why were you frightened? Because you were frightened.
Yes, terrified.
You were scared. Who were you scared of? Everybody?
Everybody.
But didn't you know you were big stars?
No, they didn't let us know. We were kept under wraps.
Who else do you remember? Listen, how'd you start? Did Jessel really give you your name? Jessel?
Yes, he did.
He says he does.
Yes,
Did he?
Did. He gave me my last name.
Her name is Frances Gum.
Yeah.
Frances Gum, yeah. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's right. Frances.
Now, tell me were you good in vaudeville?
We were
Did you-
terrible.
Yeah, who was in it?
My two sisters and my mother and myself. We were in rotten vaudeville, too.
Was
You
it-
know, not good key time or Orpheum time or anything. We were in lousy vaudeville where we were in between the switches. They'd show a movie, you know, and then throw on a lot of acts.
Yeah.
And then show the movie and then throw on. We were part of that type of vaudeville. We were terrible.
Tell me a story about Happy Harry.
Oh,
I know. Come on, they want to hear all the stuff I hear.
oh, well, we did this. My two sisters and I did a tour in throughout Washington and Oregon, all the rotten cities, all the little cities, not the main cities, and they wouldn't let us in. But we did. It was a tour, so the acts stayed together for about 6 weeks, and there was we followed a miserable comedian, most depressed comedian I've ever known, called Happy Harry. And he used to come on in two. You know what that means. The curtain is quite a ways back, so that there's a lot of room. And the music would start. His entrance music was sort of... There was only 3 pieces in the band. There were piano, drums, and some violin or trumpet. So it was an empty pit with just 3 pieces in it. Now, Happy Harry would wait in back of the curtain, and the manager of the tour would make us wait all the way through Happy Harry's act to make sure we were ready, you know. So we watched this poor thing every night. And they played... And he'd break through and say, "Hello, everybody, this is Happy Harry." And he'd go on to the most terrible stories, and we were... Well, this one time, I think you still want me to go?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, this one town we hit, they put him in 1 instead of 2, which meant he only had that much space, you know, between the pit and himself. So we were in the wings, as usual, the Gum Sisters, and when music went, and he went, "Hello, everybody," right into the... But wait.
It's more.
He fractured his leg in 3 places very badly. And we were in the wings. Can I stand up?
Sure.
We were in the wings, just standing, and the manager said, "Go on!" So we had to sing Dinah. You know, we went, "Dinah, is there anyone?" And this poor thing in the pit was going, there.
Oh, Happy Harry. He probably has his own show in the daytime now. One of those quiz shows, I bet you. Listen, what was I going to ask you about... well, you weren't really a good act in the beginning.
We were terrible. We weren't at the end. We were terrible. We were always kind of...
Were you jealous of Deanna Durbin? Would you kids get along?
Yeah.
Because you were both competitive like mad.
Yeah. I was very jealous.
Were you jealous of her?
Yeah, not for long.
Oh.
Yeah. But because the only reason I say that is she came to Metro originally, you know.
From Universal?
Yeah, no. She came to Metro first and then went to Universal.
Oh.
And when she came to Metro, I had just gone out of vaudeville and I thought I was sort of hep. And in came this girl with 1 eyebrow. Never stopped in the middle. It went right across.
What happened?
Very low. And I thought, well, she's nothing. It was a soule, and then they fired her, and they were going to fire me because I didn't know what to do actually with 13-year-old girls, 12-year-old girls. There was no such thing. You either had to be a munchkin or you had to be 18 or something. There was no in between. So they fired her, and I thought, well, you know, that's all right, I'm going to. They don't know what to do. Then they picked her up at Universal, and suddenly she was the most beautiful, glamorous girl. I'm very talented.
Yeah, I liked you best, though.
You did?
Yeah.
You just like jazz instead of opera.
No, I don't like jazz much.
Thanks.
But no, I just liked you.
Did you, darling?
You tear my heart out, you know? It isn't hard to tear it out, incidentally, but boy... No, there's a wail in your voice that just moves everybody.
That's very nice.
It's very moving. I remember your first picture. You were on a band concert, right? Is that true? Is that right?
With Deanna Durbin. It was opera versus jazz. Called
Was
every
she in it
Sunday.
too?
Yeah, every Sunday.
Yeah, well, I was in love with you.
You were?
Yeah, and that song, Dear Mr. Gable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, you'll always be... And to me, you'll always be Dorothy. Little Dorothy. Hey, tell me a story about how those clowns tried to crowd you out in The Wizard of
Oh,
Oz.
I don't dare. You're terrible.
You knew that when I came on. You know. Everyone knows I'm terrible.
Well, you mean Jack and Bert?
Yeah, how they crowded you out.
Well, they're my friends now, but then they didn't know me. Well, they are.
How old were you?
I was about 12. No, I was older than that. I was 14. They tried to make me look 12 in many different ways. They didn't quite make it. And
I know you're 16 or more now. I just figure that. You got a lovely knee. Do you know that? You always did have
cover
lovely
it a bit.
That dress is becoming a blouse, isn't it? I mean... Hey, tell about The Wizard of Oz.
Well, we were...
Oh, I love her.
I had to work with three very professional men, Jack Haley and Bert Lauer and Ray Bolger. And they had so much makeup on, Then one was a Tin Man, and one was the Scarecrow, and one was the Cowardly Lion. And they were so busy complaining about their makeups, and each one was making bets as to which makeup was the most difficult, and they all gained weight all the way through the picture. And they all pretended they just... But whenever we do that little dance up the yellow brick road...
Yeah, I remember that.
I was supposed to be with them.
Yeah. They crowd you out?
They'd shut me out. They'd close in on the three of them, and I would be in back of them dancing. I wasn't good enough, to say, wait a minute. And so the director, Victor Fleming, was a darling man. He was always up on a boom, would say, hold it, you three dirty hams, let that little girl in there.
Boy, I wish you'd come on this show every week and just talk. I told you, hey, look what I've done for Hugh Downs.
Yeah.
Oh, I got him on early, didn't I? We'll be right back after this message from Kimberly Clark. Oh, peekaboo. Listen, you gonna sing tonight?
I would like to sing. Would you like me to sing?
You know... Because if you don't sing, we're out those two guys holding up those cards out there, aren't we? There's a song. The people who wrote this Gay Paris, the music, Hip Yarberger.
No. Start again.
Yip Harburg.
Right.
But what did it used to be?
Yip. What was it, I wonder? Yip Harburg.
I can't believe he changed his name from anything else.
Well, he wrote the words. How could he write that name?
Did he write Over the Rainbow?
Yes.
See, he wrote all of our great songs, and he's written some great songs in this new picture.
Gay Paris.
Yeah, Gay Paris.
Plug.
But the song I like the best, I think, is Little Drops of Rain, and I think it has the quality of Over the Rainbow. Did you hear about the producer who was fired?
Also, you must hear first,
What?
Forgive me for interrupting.
You must never interrupt me.
First you must mention the man who wrote the music, too, Harold Arlen.
Harold Arlen. I used to love him in all those airplane pictures. Anyhow.
That was Richard Arlen.
Richard Arlen. Oh, yeah. Well, this song has all the... Did you hear about the producer who wanted to work with you and got fired because he wanted you to open with Over the Rainbow? He wants you to walk out, sit down, and open with Over the Rainbow. That's an inside joke. And I see it stayed inside. Yeah. Anyhow, this is a great song. I'm telling you. Don't fool around when I tell you something. You know that Little Drops of Rain.
Right.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right.
You ready?
of time. Never let a minute lie there on the shelf, for there may be in it all of life itself. Little drops of rain, little drops of tears, make this thing called life go dancing down the years. Little drops of rain, little rays of sun, make the hopeful rainbow glow for
I know this song you've never done before publicly, but I'd like you to do it for me. Paris is a lonely town.
What's that again?
Paris is a lonely town. Will you do it for us over there?
Surely. Do you mind if I go over and make a sort of production
I
number?
don't care what you do.
All right. The glamour's gone, the shades are down. Paris is only another town, lonely. When love's a laugh and you're the clown, Paris is only another town, dreary. For the loveless clown, this town's a weary merry-go-round, and round and round. The chestnut, the willow, the colors of you Trillo turn to gray, gray hues. The band playing Bizet along the Champs-Élysées turns to louder blues. Paris is a lonely, dreary, oh, so lonely town. Where's that shining flower 'neath the The chimneys moan, the river cries. Each glamorous bridge is a bridge of sighs. River, river, won't you be my lover? Don't turn me down. For Paris is such a lonely, lonely
Listen, tell them that crazy story about Orson Welles.
Oh,
She's got the greatest stories in the world. I let her talk.
Oh, no. Do you mean the one about the opening in Washington? Well, do you want me to?
Sure, I want you to do it.
You wouldn't... Well, Orson Welles is a great friend of mine, and when he first started in the theater, he did all weird plays, wonderful plays, but he used platforms that came up out of nowhere and revolving stages and all kinds of things that hadn't been done before. And they were doing some very extravagant play. I forget, I think it was a Shakespearean play. Matter of fact, I think it was a combination of 3 Shakespearean plays. And at one point, he had 50 soldiers with crusade outfits, with the helmets, march onto the stage and with bows and arrows, and they pulled their bows and arrows and shot the arrows into the wings where there was a big board, and it had all been all right, all during rehearsal. And they opened in Washington. It was very, very formal opening with lots of senators and little old ladies, and there was a black tie, and these 50 soldiers. I have to stand up. 50 soldiers came marching out, and they stood and pulled their bows and arrows. And just as they pulled the bows and arrows, somebody pushed the button to turn the revolving stage, and 50 arrows went into the audience. I've never seen such people saying, "Let's get out of here."
He's a marvelous talent.
Oh, he's marvelous, yes. I remember one, can I tell one? Oscar Levant, Oscar.
Oh, yes, I've had the pleasure.
Oscar Levant came to Paramount Studios to make a movie, and he always wears a blue suit that he's worn for about 108 years, He's the same blue suit and the same dark tie, black tie. And it was his first day at Paramount, and he was sort of shuffling around, with his pigeon toes and wondering what stage to go to and so forth. And he saw in the distance a great big man come out with a Hawaiian shirt on and white pants and sandals and big black glasses, 8 scripts under each arm, and a bunch of secretaries in back with papers just flying left and right. And as this group drew nearer to Oscar, he realized that it was Orson Welles, with the Hawaiian shirt and the goggles. And he didn't say anything, he just looked. And as Orson passed Oscar, he looked at Oscar and said, "Hello, Oscar, I hear you've gone Hollywood."
Hey, tell us some of the stories about the concerts you've done, the crazy things with the microphones and all, like tonight.
Yeah. Well, let's see. You know, I did all those concerts. I did 43 concerts in 43 towns, and so it got to the point where you just got into town and hit the hotel, and then I would lie in state like Stalin, you know, and not talk, and then hit the theater and sing and get out, you know, before they caught us. But we did one thing. I think you and I went. We played Houston, and we had curtains that parted in the middle. You know, and there were two stagehands walking the curtains. You know how they have to walk the curtains out around the bandstands. And this little old man, he didn't like me or anything because he wanted to play gin, obviously, with the rest of the musicians. The rest of the stagehands. And oh my! And he was standing waiting to walk the curtain, and I had finished part of my show. The curtains had closed, and he was standing, waiting to open them again. And I said, open them. And he walked about, and somehow he managed, as he was walking, to get caught. And he just kept rolling up. And rolling, you know. And he got all wrapped up in the velour. And I didn't see him, and I had about 3 more numbers to do. And David Beagleman and Freddie Fields, my darling managers, were backstage. And
the man was yelling, wasn't he?
The manager. No,
was he yelling? What was the old guy?
I couldn't hear him. I guess he was.
You didn't hear him, but he was yelling.
He was in 3 feet and below.
He was all wrapped up.
So they rushed up to David and said, how much longer is she going to be on? And they said, not too long. Don't worry about him. He'll be all right, you know. And I sang for about 32 minutes, and I went off for about, and I looked down, and there were these little feet, and one hand, and just a voice going, and I said, what the heck is going on? And they said, never mind, go back on. So I went on. Well, and needless to say, at the end of the concert, we unfurled him. We threw him out by unwrapping the curtain.
How old was he?
He's about 68.
Oh, wow. Probably the best action he's had in a long time. Even at 68, even a little velour, you know. It's something, you know. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
We'll be back after this message from Block Drive.
It's divine. It's so much fun.
There's a boy backstage growing older. I was telling Judy, you know, with this hair, with that great voice and this marvelous personality and all that curly hair, and he's got skin like Lillian Gish, as you pointed out.
He's dreamy.
Why can't he have a few pimples, just to give him... Ladies and gentlemen, one of the nicest guys in show business, Bobby Goulet. You think you weren't ever going to bring him out?
I wasn't sure.
He's a handsome devil, isn't he?
He's murder.
And I think it's obscene, don't you?
I don't.
Don't you have any crooked teeth or anything?
I've got a pimple here. I thought I'd grow for you for the show.
Where? I want to see it.
And he's a real nice man. Real nice man. Hey, you're going to open in Boston?
Yes, I go to Boston this week sometime. I'll be opening the night that we play the show. That it is shown.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Did I? What did I say?
Let's try it again. Hey, I hear you're going to open in Boston.
Yes. It's funny you should ask. Yes, I'm going to play. I'm going to be at Blindstrip's in Boston. Yes, very soon.
That'll be about the same time the show is playing.
As a matter of fact.
In the picture Gay Paris, there is a song called Musette. And I'd like... Would you do that?
Do you want to?
It's a wonderful ending for it tonight. Would you?
Do you think it should?
I don't know. Do you think we can remember the words for one?
I don't know. It's been so long since I've done it.
Are we supposed to sing or anything when we go around?
No. But the thing that irks me is the fact that we have to go to all these... we have to go to all these places, theaters.
What are you going to wear?
I don't know.
You don't? I mean, black tie?
I think I'll wear a black tie.
Oh, will you?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you feel I've lost the ball?
Why don't we sing, Judy?
Yes.
Watch yourself at all times.
Musette, Musette, my heart for you is one big throb.
J'entends, j'entends, my love for you is formidable. Your smile starts the day with a bright and gay bonjour.
Your laugh is a lay, and your voice is vive l'amour.
When we were kittens, you were mine.
Today, today, you made my feline heart feel fine.
Your purr and your flirt fills my heart with ecstasy.
Your fur and your purr make the whole world gay free.
Love seemed a beautiful dream.
When we shared that saucer of peanut in the pickles,
Musette,
Musette, we even say our shall say, and hurrah and hooray.
ah, ma foi, today. And the something there, I love, Paris.
Now a refreshing scene from Newport Menthol Cigarettes. You know, many, many years of crazy, wild, informal, unwritten, scriptless teases. This was the most enjoyable night I've ever had. I don't know when did for you doing it. We're late. May you be a big smash at Blindstrip's.
Thank you, Jack.
And Judy Garland, I am indebted to you for coming on this show. I don't even belong in the same building
Oh,
with
don't
you.
be silly.
Good night,
darling.
sweetheart.
I
Good night.
loved it. I loved every
Good night.
Good night.
From the Hollywood Palace, here is your hostess, the incomparable Miss Judy Garland.
Just once in a lifetime, there's one special moment one wonderful moment when fate takes your hand. And this is a moment, my once in a lifetime, when I can explore a new and exciting land. For once in my lifetime, I feel like a giant. I soar like an eagle, as though I had wings. For this is my moment, my destiny calls me, and though it may be just once in my lifetime, I'm gonna do great things. Just once in my lifetime, I feel like a giant. I soar like an eagle, as though I had wings. For this is my moment, my destiny calls me, and though it may be just once in my lifetime, I'm gonna do great things. Well, good evening. I'm so happy to be your hostess tonight, and I love to sing for you, but I have to introduce a lot of acts. And when it comes to talking on television, anything can happen with me. So just get ready for anything, anything at all. As a matter of fact, I won't talk very much. I guess that might make some of you men happy. Finding a woman who doesn't want to talk very much could be unusual. Well, we're going to start the show with what's known as a family act. And I'm very partial to family acts. My favorite was the Gum Sisters. That was my two sisters and I. And I don't like to brag, but we were really terrible. We were disastrous. But not this opening night tonight. This act tonight consists of a father and 4 marvelous boys. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lyons family. I did this number in a picture with the marvelous Fred Astaire, but Fred couldn't be here tonight. And naturally I miss him, but when I get to the dancing part alone, you'll know just how marvelous Fred really is. Come back, Fred. We're a couple of swells. We stop at the best hotels, but we prefer the country far away from the city. We're a couple of sports, the pride of the tennis courts. In June, July, and August, we look cute when we're dressed in shorts. The Vanderbilts have asked us up for tea. We don't know how to get there. No, sorry. No, sorry. That was Fred's part there. We would drive up the avenue, but we haven't got the prize. We would skate up the avenue, but there is in any ice. We would ride on a bicycle, but we haven't got a bike. So walk up the avenue, yes, we'll walk up the avenue, 'cause to walk up the avenue's what we like. Wall Street baggers are we, with plenty of currency. We'd open up the safe, but we forgot where we put the key. We're the favorite lads of girls in the picture ads. We'd like to tell you who we kissed last night, but we can't because the Vanderbilts are waiting at the club. But how are we to get there? That's the rub. That's the rub. We would sail up the avenue, but we haven't got a yacht. We would drive up the avenue, but the horse we had was shot. We would ride on a trolley car, but we haven't got the fare. So we'll walk up the avenue, yes, we'll walk up the avenue, yes, we'll walk up the avenue till we're there. Avenue, and we'll walk up the avenue till we're there. Come on, Fred, take that. Get off, Fred. Come on, Fred, get off. Boy, it's hot in this suit. I wouldn't be a man for anything. You know, my dear friend Cole Porter wrote hundreds of songs, and most of them were great big hits. And I'd like to sing one now that never became terribly popular. And I don't know why, because it's so very lovely, and it's one of my favorites. The gods who nurse this universe think little of worldly cares. They sit in crowds on exclusive clouds and laugh at our love affairs. I might have had a real romance if they'd given me the chance. I loved him, but he didn't love me. I wanted him, but he didn't want me. Then the gods went on a spree and indulged in another whim. Now he loves me, but I don't love him.
Well, 'cause I love you. 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 'Cause I
We'll be back in a moment with the three Bragassis, Vic Damone, the marvelous new comedy team of Schreiber and Burns, and lots more in the Hollywood Palace. Sam?
What?
It's so nice seeing you again.
Just like old times, isn't it, Judy?
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I first came to Metro. You were a big star.
What do you mean, were?
What I mean is you were just a youngster, but you were the queen of the lot. I thought MGM stood for Make Garland Money.
I remember the first time I saw you in the commissary at MGM. You were awfully cute.
What do you mean, were? I was just a green kid.
Green kid with red hair, green socks.
You didn't pay much attention to me. I used to follow you around saying, Judy, Judy, Judy.
Was that you? I thought it was Cary Grant. How do I look?
I think you've got too much makeup on.
You're as cute as a button. And you know, I'm a glutton for your funny face.
Pardon me for quipping, but your mascara's dripping on your funny face. Here's the way to get 'em in the city and each town. Put on your funny face and be a clown.
Make 'em laugh, make 'em roar when you fall on the floor. Make 'em howl, make 'em cry when you're hit with a pie. You're here to make you laugh, so just forget that frown. Mr. and Mrs. Well, we want to tell you we can sing, we can dance, and we love baggy pants.
When you fall on your face, say this must be the place.
The king and queen of comedy without a crown. Mr. and Mrs. Clown. We entertained for royalty, they took to the rafts. We split the bill with Cassius Clay and he got the laughs. We changed our names from Dick and Liz. Well, that's showbiz. Wake up, folks. Those are the jokes. Play cities and sticks, funny gags, lots of tricks. Love the Wizard of Oz.
I just did it for kicks.
Working in another town, we're Mr. and Mrs. Clown. Found around at MGM.
Ages ago.
I don't see all my movies on the Late Late Show.
Well, how about 30 seconds over Tokyo? Raise the flags. These are the gags. Vaudeville isn't gone, 'cause we still linger on. You'd still find it a treat if we did Football Street.
I never wear tuxedos.
And I haven't a gown, Mr. and Mrs. Clown. I always get the biggest hat when I fall down.
The methods that we used to make you laugh are renowned.
We've even been arrested once in every town. Mr. and Mrs. Nobles are innocent. Mr. and We'll be right back with the marvelous Black Theater of Prague, the hilarious Jack Carter, and lots more in the Hollywood Palace. Every day, just go along down till sundown. Here's the rundown. Every day that comes once in a lifetime. Take each day and gather the rosebuds in it. Fill each minute. Every day that comes once in a lifetime. Think of now. Tomorrow is waiting in the wings. Who knows what it brings? While the future waits, the present swings from day to day. In Brooklyn or China, cross the bay. Only once comes this particular sky. Only once these precious hours will fly. Only once in a lifetime the day comes by. So live, live, live. To day, from Brooklyn or China, across the bay. Only once comes this particular sky. Only once these precious hours will fly. Only once in a lifetime today comes by, so live. I'll go my way by myself. This is the end of romance. I'll go my way by myself. Love is only a dance. I'll try to apply myself and teach my heart how to sing. I'll go my way by myself like a bird on the wing. The unknown. I'll build a world of my own. No one knows better than I myself. I'm by myself. I'll go my way by myself. Here's how the comedy ends. I'll have to deny myself love and laughter and friends. Gray clouds in the sky above have put a blot on my fun. No one knows better than I myself how I wanted love and fell. Now I say, what the hell? All of those dark days are gone. 'Cause it's solo, all alone, by myself. From now You've been the most marvelous audience. It's been a joy for me working for you tonight. It's always, these are new words. Well, anyway, it's always a pleasure to be at the Hollywood Palace. And 2 weeks from now, your host will be the wonderful Mr. Bing Crosby. Thank you again. Good night. God bless you.
Tonight, the Academy has elected to pay tribute to the late Cole Porter with a medley of his songs. Mr. Porter's contributions to entertainment will never be forgotten, for if it is true that a man lives on through his work, most assuredly, Cole Porter will live. For rarely has there been an instance where a creator and his creations were so exactly alike. Urbane, witty, literate, and original. Both the man and his work had distinction and that elusive quality called style. To sing the Academy's tribute tonight, our producer Joe Pasternak has chosen a lady of monumental style herself, Miss Judy Garland.
No kick in a plane, flying too high with some guy in the sky. My idea the top. You're a turkey dinner. You're the top. You're an Oscar winner. I'm a total wreck, a worthless check, a flop. But it's baby, I'm the bottom, you're the top. Birds do it, bees do it, even overeducated, please do it. 'Cause they've got land, lots of land, understory skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in. You'd be so nice to come home to. You'd be so nice by the fire. So please be sweet, my chickadee. And when I kiss you, just say to me, it's delightful, it's delicious, it's delectable, it's delirious, it's dilemma, it's the limit, it's deliciously lovely, lovely. But my heart belongs to Daddy, so I think you're perfectly swell. Yes, my heart belongs to Daddy, and my Daddy, he treats me so well. Strange dear, but true, dear, when I'm close to you, dear, the stars fill the sky, so in love with you am I. I love you, hums the April breeze, I love you, echo the hills. From this moment on, you for me, dear, only two for tea, dear. From this moment on, from this happy day, you and I, babe, will be riding hard, babe. Every care is gone. From this moment, from this moment, night and day, under the high there's an old, such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its moment won't be soon. Would you let me spend my life making love to you?